do that into our own lives. I feel like I'll be vegan by the end of this week. At the start of the week, Kane was going to be talking about rap music. And as someone who's never listened to rap music before, I was ready to sign up and buy the album. So by the end of this speech, I'm sure he's going to give you a lot to think about, and you'll be very, very interested in what he has to say. Okay?
All right, yeah. I was told. Alright, yo, so, she told me not to say, yo, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon. I was told not to use the microphone because my voice is very loud. Well, I'd like to say, at least my voice is listened to. My name is CDA. I'm here to talk about animal liberation. Now, you can still, after this speech, you can still keep your religion. No religion mandates flesh eating. You can still keep your friends, your politics. I'm not a politician. You can still listen to most of your favourite music and watch most of your favourite TV shows. Even if you listen to Drake and watch Love Island for some reason. Now, I used to eat animals, their secretions. I used to eat what came out of their bodies. I used to wear their skin, eat murdered animal bodies, stolen breast milk, bee vomit, chicken periods. Then I realised that I need to add another item to the list of the many evils in the world. We have racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, and then I realised there's also speciesism, which is another major form of discrimination. Instead of listing all the different forms of discrimination which is bad, why don't we just say discrimination is wrong, full stop? Now I'd like you to imagine yourself in the victim's position here. Imagine if the day you were born, someone else already planned the date of your murder. Because that is the case for trillions of animals around the world right now. 74 billion land animals every year. And half of the 2.7 trillion marine animals are farmed, so their dates of their murder is decided for them as well. So imagine if you were in the victim's position. These animals, majority live their lives on a factory farm, and even if they do live on a family farm where it's all happy and lovely, guess where they go one day? They are forced onto a trucked miles and miles up and down the slaughterhouse, up and down the motorway to a slaughterhouse. When they get to the slaughterhouse, all the animals know what's going on. They're not stupid. No animal willingly gets off the truck into a slaughterhouse. So workers force them in there. They get electric prods and force them inside. And if the animals are small enough to be manhandled like chickens, they're thrown inside. And these animals, innocent, living and breathing, they come out chopped up into 1,000,000 pieces against their will. And people want to claim that there's humane slaughter when these animals are chopped up into pieces and fed to people on a daily basis. Halal, kosher, free range, organic, high welfare, all the animals end up with a knife in the throat or in a gas chamber like pigs and chickens, suffocated, dragged out of the ocean like fish. This is called speciesism. Now I'd like to ask you to place yourself in the victim's position. Do you think that you're bigger and better than other animals simply because you're human? I'd like to ask you, what is the trait present in humans, not present in other animals, that justifies a difference in treatment? Now, who is responsible for this? Who eats their bodies? Who wears their skin? Who wears makeup tested on their faces? Vegans? Or non-vegans? Now, I'd like to reiterate, I wasn't born vegan. The only difference between me and you is that you guys claim to be against animal abuse. So do I. But the difference between me and you is that I'm consistent with my morals. We wouldn't reduce with any other issue of injustice, because a lot of people come up to me and say, I only eat a little bit of flesh. I only drink a little bit of stolen breast milk. But would we take that stance with any other issue of injustice? If you were in the victim's position, so someone reduce the amount they eat of you, or should they just stop? Now, the number one benefit of being vegan, first of all, for the animals, they're no longer tortured and murdered because of you. But for you, the number one benefit is that you no longer have to be a hypocrite. If you want to know how to be vegan, place yourself in the victim's position. In issues of injustice, always think of the victim. How urgently should animal abuse be ended? This is not food for thought. Imagine yourself in the victim's position again. With any other issue of injustice, should it be gradually reduced or stopped immediately? What would you want me to say for you if you had your head cut off, if you were raped like a dairy cow, chucked in a blender like baby male chicks on your first day of life because you do not lay eggs for your slave owner who only sees you for profit? Until you are vegan, this is on you. Don't point at the billionaires and the business owners and the governments. This is in your hands. Don't take the power out of your hands. Think about yourself. You claim to be against animal abuse. So what are you going to do about it? Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear them.
I bet you will.
Any questions? Raise your hand. Any questions? Come on, I know you want to argue against the vegan right now. Come on. No questions?
I'll ask you a question then.
Okay.
Back to the property. So, I'm not a vegan.
Okay.
You started out by saying discrimination and the rest. To learn that I'm not a vegan, would you feel like, would you discriminate against me for not being a vegan, or are you happy with other people's views, or are you that passionate about veganism that it's allowed prejudices to creep in your side?
Okay, so you're asking me if I'm prejudiced against you?
Or would you be?
I'm prejudiced against prejudice. So you choose to abuse animals. Imagine, once again, if you were in the victim's position, what would you want me to say to someone who just chooses not to be vegan because, like, what's the justification here? The food's yummy. Okay, so if you tasted nice, would it be okay for someone to put your head in? Okay, do you?
Do you think all non-vegans are bad people?
Not necessarily. Again, I used to be non-vegan, but once you know, like, you claim to be against animal abuse, again, you got to make a change. Yeah?
Even though you're vegan, at the end of the day, the animals are going to die whether you eat it or not.
Okay then, so would you take that stance with any other issue of injustice, such as child abuse? Not one person can stop child abuse by themselves, but you don't do it because you're the better person, right? Yes, okay.
Do you think that saying the speech now is going to make people stop eating meat? Because if you don't eat it, someone else is going to pick it off the shelf and eat it for you.
Okay, you've probably heard of supply and demand, right? So the more people who buy these products, the more animals are bred into existence, murdered, etc. So, again, you don't want to pass off blame to other people. You wouldn't do that with any other issue of injustice. You gotta, have personal accountability. Just because other people are doing something doesn't mean you should. Okay.
What made you become a vegan? What made you change your mind?
Learning about this stuff. I didn't want to be an animal abusing hypocrite anymore. So I wish that years ago someone came up to me and told me this stuff, because I would have changed a lot earlier. And if you ask a lot of other vegans, that will probably be their wish also. Any other questions?
Okay, I think culturally in the UK it's really ingrained to eat meat. In fact, I think a lot of people would be lost if they didn't have meat on the plate. What's your thoughts on how we can engage and encourage the wider population in the UK to start eating, stop eating meat or eating less meat? How would you go about doing it?
Well, first of all, I can tell you what you should do, but also if we're talking about a whole culture, it's about having honest conversations like this. If I just stood here and said, oh, well, please don't eat meat, that would be very nice. Some animals I said, but you do what you want. Do you think that would shake up the system and affect change properly? No, so that's why we've got to have these brutally honest conversations to try and shift the culture. Yeah.
So you're saying that having gentle conversations isn't going to do anything, but how is you telling us all this stuff but not telling us how we can change our lifestyles any better?
Okay, so you want to know how, basically?
Well, right now, just say how is it any better?
Okay, because if I just stood here and gave plant-based recipes, stuff like that, then why would people go for the plant-based recipes and stop eating? But then?
I'm more likely to do that if you give me things that I can do.
Okay. So if I only stood here and gave everyone plant-based recipes, what would motivate people to give up the animal abuse? Because if I just stood here and just listed the how, then people wouldn't understand why. So I can give you some information after this if you want to know how to change. But the most important thing is to know why, because then, like, we have Google now, we can easily know how to change. We can look up plant-based recipes easily. So. Thank you to the donors. Please consider donating. The links are in the description. Thanks in advance. Thanks for watching. Leave a like to support the video and type a comment to tell me what you thought. Save and share this video around so more people will watch. Be more connected to me and my work on social media. Links in the description. And please consider donating to help support the channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. CDA.